Hello, and welcome to the official last video talking about last year's books. Lots of lasts in that sentence. I apologize, but I just want to get it out there. Let's bring back the tier ranking. I've been seeing it all over, and I want to participate. Okay, this is a really great way to just show you everything I read, show you my true opinions. I've already talked about my best of, so don't be surprised when you see the top tier rankings. I thought I read 59 books this year. Apparently, I don't know. It's showing that I have 58 books. Okay, I tried my best. All right, this is just fun, lighthearted. Let's have a great time. Let's go over the tiers. First, top tier, excellent books. Those are great. My favorite of the year. Second one, great books. Those were great books. Not my favorite, but great books. Third, those were good books. Those were pretty good books at the end of the day. Fourth, these are okay books. Kind of forgot I read them. That's probably the exact sentiment that I feel when talking about them. Last one. Breaks my heart. Just not in it for me. Not a love, unfortunately, just wasn't there. Broke my heart, the experience that I had. Anyway, let's get into it, because why not? All right, first one, Interpreter of Maladies by Jhumpa Lahiri. Excellent book. Come on now. That is an excellent book, one of my favorites of the year. I talked about this at length in a couple of videos. Highly suggest. Amazing short stories. Will not waste your time. Really excited to have gotten into Lahiri as an author. The second one, this isn't really a book, but it's a play, okay? And something that I read this year that I've been wanting to read for years, and I finally got to it, A Raisin in the Sun. I'm gonna put that under great. It wasn't my favorite of the year, but what a fantastic American play, I'd say. Fantastic and highly suggest. If you're looking to get into American playwriting and American plays, this one is just an integral piece of that canon. It's also kind of a New Year's resolution for me to read more plays this year. I do a lot of new plays. I do a lot of variations on plays, but I want to read older plays this year. And speaking of New Year's resolutions, have you really taken the time to focus in on your resolution? For me, it's been a lot of focusing in on my skin health. Is that crazy? No, I don't think so. I have a miracle curl on my forehead right now, so you can't really see, but I've been breaking out in these strange, massive bumps on my head. And for me, one of the most important things is to have a relationship with a doctor. And this year, I'm prioritizing trying to find the best doctors for my face. One of the most fundamental parts of care is finding somebody reliable and understanding of exactly the type of care that you need. I need a meaningful, solution-driven approach, and that is why I am so happy that ZocDoc exists. And thank you to ZocDoc for kindly sponsoring today's video. ZocDoc is a free website where you can book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone that you love. You can book in-network appointments with more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states. There's over 200 plus specialties in ZocDoc's database, whether it's dermatology, eye care, primary care, or dentistry. You can just search based on specialty, symptom, and you are sure to find a match for you. What I'm really excited about is being able to look in and find peer review-based doctors. In New York City, so much of doctor navigating is just going based on a friend, and sometimes it just doesn't necessarily click with you. With those reviews, you can get a verified and trusted sense of who your doctor might be. You want to meet in person? There's a doctor for that. You want to meet virtually? There's a doctor for that too. You can see real-time availability and book instantly. No waiting games and no phone calls. Hello. And appointments made through ZocDoc happen fast within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. How is that for a New Year's win? Be kind to yourself this year. Using ZocDoc is free. Visit my sponsor to find and instantly book an in-network, top-rated doctor today. Thank you so much again to ZocDoc for sponsoring today's video, and let's continue in with the ranking. Let's go. So let me also start by saying that these are not in the chronological order that I read them. Those are just randomly here. Don't ask me when I read them. I don't know. All the months fused together. The next one that I have on this list is To Have and Have Not by Ernest Hemingway. That's a great book. I enjoyed reading Hemingway again, a book that I hadn't read. I feel like all the Hemingways that I have read are books that I read in my youth, and now reading them as an adult have different meanings, but I had never read To Have and Have Not. I've said it before, but the last scene, hold on, hello. Whoa, the spirit of Hemingway was coming out of me. The last scene in that is awesome. It's like a shootout, great boating catastrophe scene. Loved it. Okay, then we have shipping news. Oh, baby, come on. This was a book club pick. This was an okay book. I wanted to love this so much more. Exquisite writing, exquisite character building, exquisite anecdotal stories. Oh my goodness. I knew these characters. I felt these characters. I just didn't understand the direction that it was going in. And it didn't really go in any direction. The fact that they made a movie about this is baffling to me because it just felt incredibly tepid the entire way. Just felt like a little placid journey. Just about characters, which is awesome. I wanted it to go somewhere. I wanted something exciting to happen, and I never really felt that excited. Oh, this breaks my heart. I wanted to love this book so much, The Liars Club by Mary Karr. I wanted to love it. I was listening to it on audiobook. I couldn't finish it. As far as memoirs go, I imagine when this first came out, it was astonishing, groundbreaking. Everybody wanted a piece. Now, it just doesn't really do anything for me. I think I've read so many very similar memoirs at this point in my life, and it's kind of sad looking back at how just breaking barriers that this probably was, but just how it doesn't really, I don't know, I just wasn't invested in it like I wanted to be. In the Miso Soup, I'm going to put that as an okay book. I picked this for my book club as like a weird, off-putting book to read, and this definitely had moments of that, but it felt like it was pushing more into the shock value as opposed to having it there for a necessary reason. I'm interested to read a couple of Ryu's other books. There's one like Locker Babies, something like that, that seems wild. Little Children. Good book. I thought this was good. I talked about it in my recent ins and outs videos, but I want to read bestsellers from years ago. And this was kind of a catalyst for that. And I talked about it last year. What I wanted to read was books like kind of like 90s, 2000s books that were super popular. And this was my way of doing that. I liked it. I read it super fast. It was a great bestseller. Again, movie came out. Oh my gosh. Hello, who remembers Kate Winslet and Patrick Wilson? I've always been big into Patrick Wilson. He's like one of my celebrity crushes, but Michael Fassbender will always be number one. The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. I would say that's a great book. I like war novels. This isn't necessarily like a novel. It's not short stories, but it kind of is. Yes. All about the Vietnam War. Heartbreaking, obviously. So sad. It feels a very great way of just talking about a young person's perspective and just the fear and the confusion of why are they doing this when they don't want to. A Long Way Gone, Memoirs of a Boy Soldier. I'm gonna say that's a great book. That was one of my favorite nonfictions of this year. All about a boy soldier. It's a true story during the Sierra Leone Civil War. Horrible. Excellent book. Light Years. Oh my God, great, beautiful. Have talked about it already as a favorite book of the year. Stunning, loved it. Just sexy, mind-blowing, emotional. Yes. Christopher Co. Such Time, Shut Up, my favorite book of last year. Shut up! Okay, I can't stop talking about it. Turning blue in the face. Just, can't come up for air. Love it. Surrendering to everything in that book. Obsessed. Surfacing by Margaret Atwood. Yeah, excellent book. I love that. And I think about it all the time. Canadian fiction. Yeah. The Wasp Factory. I'm going to say that that's an okay book. It hasn't stuck out to me as much as I wanted it to stick out. I made a whole video talking about it. Again, I was really surrendering to the idea of reading graphic, almost like violent fiction, and that one always gets brought up. I don't think it was doing it just to be gratuitous. I think that there was actual storylines there. I did lose the plot a couple of times, and the twist at the end isn't really a momentous twist. Again, as I imagine that it probably was when it first came out, it doesn't really age as provocatively as it might have wanted to. It was still fine, like an enjoyable read, definitely. There were moments that I thought, oh, baby, we don't have to go there. And my threshold for going there is pretty big. Jamaica, Kincaid, Annie John, I thought was a good book. I read this for my book club. Again, I love Jamaica Kincaid. I also have an intense, odd, one-sided relationship with her because she lives in a town really close to where I grew up, and I have always had her on my peripheral as somebody to kind of look up to in an odd way. Annie John is about a young girl growing up in Antigua, very kind of loosely based on Kincaid's own life. It made me relive a lot of the emotions that I felt as a young girl and a lot of the stages, like the staggering of events that happen to us as young girls or young kids in general, these formative opinions that are formed, and that really made me go back, and I talked a lot about my childhood and things that I experienced. It just made those emotions come out. So for that, great book. Oh my God. Okay. I went through like some weird stuff in my life this year, and I reread this book. It's called In the Mirror of the Well. It's a wild ride, but you know what? I can't stop thinking about it. This is probably one of like the most erotic books that I've ever read, and I can get down. I can read that. I like reading that. I think that this is probably one of the I've never heard anybody ever talk about this book. I'm not suggesting this book to you if this is not your thing, but this is an affair novel. This is an affair novel. It's all about a woman who is just going through this, not even a tumultuous affair. She's almost just, it's more of the tumultuous landscape in her mind and why she just keeps coming back to this affair. And it's graphic, okay? It's very graphic. Every single page is graphic, but there's a lot of good writing in this. And if you've ever been in such an intense and almost like claustrophobic emotional response to somebody, this book pretty much encapsulates it. Excellent book, 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I loved it. I thought it was great. Talked about it a lot. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. Shut up. Excellent book. Excellent book. Stephen King, The Shawshank Redemption. I'm going to put that as a good book, a good novella, let's say, because it's so tiny. I listened to this on audiobook, and it was a hopeful and happy journey, even though there's a lot of dark things that happen in it. And then I rewatched the movie, and I said, that's a great adaptation. Less Than Zero. I love Bret Easton Ellis. One of my little babies, okay? One of my little babies. This is his first book, his debut, Debois. Threw him onto the scene. I think he was 21 years old when he published it. Not my favorite Ellis. We might get into that. Say Nothing. Oh, come on now. Excellent. I'm going to put this as great because there's another Patrick Radden Keefe that I think is excellent. Tortilla Flat by John Steinbeck. Make yourself a dang quesadilla. Tortilla. I think that's great. That's one for the boys, okay? That is one of Steinbeck's for the boys books. A General Theory of Oblivion. I think that was a pretty great book. This was an Archipelago Press production, so it's great. Great translations. Weird book. Very weird, and I can imagine the visuals of that very easily. For some reason, clowns come to mind, and there was not a single clown in that book. Oh, this breaks my heart to put this here, but The Ice Palace by Tarjei Vesaas was not what I wanted it to be. Not what I wanted it to be. The Friend by Sigrid Nunez. I thought that was an excellent book. Blitzed, Drugs in the Third Reich. What a weird book. I'm going to put that as okay. I liked it a lot more when I first read it, and then I've ruminated on it a little bit more, and it really didn't stick out to me like I thought it would. I don't really reference it and talk about it in conversation, aside from saying, yeah, there's a lot of meth happening. Oh, Berserk. Let's just get these out of the way right now. I'm going to put those as great, and the only reason that they're not excellent is because I haven't finished them all yet. But life-changing, honestly. Introduced me to so many different people, and it's taught me to keep my mind open about different mediums of storytelling that I might otherwise have brushed off, and I'm so thankful for the manga community. Awesome, great, and really feeling like I'm starting off with a bang on that journey. Souls of Black Folk, great book. How to Murder Your Life by Kat Marnell. Oh, come on, baby. Don't get weird with it. We're putting it excellent books. I don't care. Great. Literally one of my favorite nonfiction books of last year. Empire of Pain, excellent book. If you haven't read it, you need to. You're not going to be disappointed. One Day, I talked about this in my nonfiction wrap-up. One Day, this is all about one day in the life of average Americans and just showing that every single day counts and every single day matters. Yeah. Kraftwerk, Future Music from Germany, great book. I loved it. And I love Kraftwerk. And I love dancing. Every day dancing. Just dancing to techno Yeah. Okay, and then after that, we have Not That Kind of Girl by Lana Dunham. I'm going to say that that's okay. I read this because I just kept on getting fed promo interviews for Dunham's new show that came out. And it worked on me, and I said, I have her book. Let me pick that up. And so I picked it up. She has a really strong and distinctive voice, and I will give her that. And I do think that she's funny. I do think that she's really clever, and I do think that she's talented. Is she my favorite person in the entire world? No, but I also don't know her. I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. I read it in a day or something like that. Friday Black. Great book. Great book. And I've talked about it before, but some of the absolute best representation of retail work and retail shopping that I've ever read in a book. That author has worked a Black Friday, okay? Yes, they have. How to Build a Universe That Doesn't Fall Apart 2 Days Later by Philip K. Dick. Last year I wanted to read more Philip K. Dick, and did I? No, I didn't. This is just a little speech that he gave, I believe, put out by Lahiri, which is my favorite little book collections. Fun. I thought that this was good. Interesting to see how his mind works. Earthlings. I'm going to say that this was an okay book. I think that this suffers from being in the realm of incredibly overhyped books. Not overhyped, I should just say hyped books. Because I don't think that this is overhyped. I think it's just hyped in a way that it is wild. This is a wild book, okay? But when people talk about weird, wild books, they often reference this, and I was expecting it to be wild. I think I just got a little misplaced in it, and I didn't know what I was getting out of it. I think the themes are very on point. I think the themes are very much apparent, maybe almost too much so. I didn't hate it. I don't know what I was expecting out of it. Karr in the Sun breaks my heart. I did not get along with that book. I don't know if Ishiguro's writing is for me, and that genuinely breaks my heart because I know that he's a fantastic writer. I just have trouble with it. Femme by Magda Karnecki. This also really breaks my heart. This book was a little too... not even existential, just a little too, real stream of consciousness. There were moments of this that were really flattering for me, and I could feel it, and I was so viscerally attached to what was being communicated, but there were other moments where I just was thinking, I'm so stupid, I cannot follow this. But I will say, Deep Vellum, who sent me this book, thank you so much. They're doing wonderful things, and if you haven't checked them out, you should definitely check them out. The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis. Come on now. This is an excellent book. I reread it again this year. That's a reread. That's my favorite Bret Easton Ellis. Sue me. Walking Practice. I'm an anonymous author, right? Their identity is concealed, which I think is cool. I always like when people do that, if it's done well. This is a wild book. Did I love it? I'm not sure. I still have vivid recollections of what happened in this book. I'm gonna put that as a good book, because you know what? Reflecting on it now, I'm thinking about it still. Mother Care by Lynn Tillman. It was an okay book. I really have wanted to get into Tillman's work, and I think that was the wrong book to start with. It's all about her mother gradually starting to pass, and she's now having to reflect on her place as a daughter and taking care of her and the relationship that she has with her mother. I am interested in Tillman's work a lot. I think that this was just the wrong one to start with. The Bee Sting by Paul Murray, I thought was excellent. I loved it. I talked about it a lot. The Art Thief by Michael Finkel, loved it. And has anybody seen The Mastermind yet? That movie? I just keep thinking, surely those worlds exist together, right? Oh, The Complete Fear of Kathy Acker. That's a good book. That's a weird-ass book. And I'm going to make another video soon, hopefully within the next year, talking about weird books. This one's on there. Just strange and fun. I've gotten to know Jack Skelly, and he's a cool guy. Down the Drain by Julia Fox. Excellent. I loved it. Crooked Seeds by Karen Jennings. You want to talk about writing an abhorrent character. This book does it. I think it's a good book. I think it's a really good book. Liars by Sarah Manguso. If you're going through a separation or if you hate your spouse, read that book. Oh my God. That's all about a marriage falling apart, and truly falling apart is just putting it lightly. We Burn Daylight. Oh my goodness. This book is, I think it's I'm going to put it as an okay book, okay? I'm going to put it as an okay book just because I think there was a lot of great moments in it. I'm really invested in cults. I'm so fascinated by them. This book is about the Branch Davidians, two young people who are falling in love simultaneously as the Branch Davidian cult is spiraling. And if you know anything about Waco, Texas in the 1990s, this book ends with the culmination of the Waco siege. Very interesting. Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout. I'm going to put that as a good book. I like Elizabeth Strout. I just want to hug her. And I love that she just keeps on bringing the same characters back in and saying, I still love you. You're great. Blue Light Hours. Oh my goodness. That's a good book. You could read that in a day. It's a perfect book to read with your mother, and I just kept on thinking that it was going to veer in a direction of absolute sadness, but it kind of doesn't, and I love that, and that makes me even cherish it even more. Our Evenings by Alan Hollinghurst. I think that's a good book. I read that for my book club, and I had never read any Hollinghurst books, but a lot of people who had read it said that this mimics a lot of the same foundation that he uses for a lot of his stories. I kept thinking that Alan Hollinghurst was writing about himself towards the end, as opposed to really channeling this fictional character that he created. So I couldn't get myself out of that. And it's touches upon COVID, which is a little for me. All the Mothers by Domenica Ruta. I liked that. It was a good summer book, I will say that. A woman who has a pregnancy, or has a baby, I should say, with this deadbeat guy and the family that she creates. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Culture Creep. I thought this was good. Introduced me to How to Murder Your Life, and I'm forever thankful. Unknown Universe. Oh, that breaks my heart. I just could not get into that book at all. I just could not get into that book. And it's a debut, and I really, really want to support the author, but I just got a little bit lost, and I'm so sorry. Culpability. This was okay. This was a new release in Oprah's book club. Again, an AI-adjacent book, all about the conversation of where do humans end and where does AI begin, and then it's all about family secrets. I couldn't relate to a single character in that book at all, so it was fine. Orlando by Jacqueline Hartman. I thought this was an excellent book. I loved it, and I can't wait to read more of Hartman's books. I just really like that, and I think about that all the time, and I think it's a romantic, sexy... It's not romantic. I think it's a sexy book. And then the last one, Slouching Towards Bethlehem. Get up there, get up there, get up there. By Joan Didion. The only reason that this wasn't on my top favorites of the books this year was because it was a reread. No. The only reason that it wasn't on my top books of this year was because it was a reread. So, yeah, guys, I think I might be missing one. I'm not sure. But this is my tier ranking of all the bookies that I loved and read and enjoyed this year. I think my average is always going to be around 60, and I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. Whew. Now we can finally move on to the New Year's books. 2025 is over, baby. It's over, and now we're going into the future. And I'm starting with Lonesome Dove, and that is a long one. And I think I might have bit off more than I can chew, but that's okay. Anyway, you guys are wonderful. You're fabulous. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next one. Miracle Curl. Miracle Curl. Yes.